Leo, how are you?
Liv, I don't know, is it Liv or Olivia? What do you prefer to be called?
Please call me Liv. Please call me Liv.
Hey, Liv. Lucky to actually meet you. I've been seeing you on social media over the past years, obviously with regards to Lady Gaga, and that's how I became obsessed with you. So it's an honor for me to be talking to you right now.
Listen, I'm just happy to be speaking to a little monster, as always. But now you've got your own album, which is insane, Maniac. How does it feel to put this out into the world?
It's been a journey. Honestly, I don't think I ever dreamed that I would be doing something like this, because music only really featured in my life after I finished school. So it wasn't something that I necessarily started and I was like, music is going to be my life, I'm striving for it. It just organically happened, and ever since then, I never thought an album would be on the cards, and here we are, it just happened.
I mean, do you remember first falling in love with music when you were younger? Like, what sparked that for you?
Lady Gaga. Lady Gaga,
Taste.
all the pop songs. I've been a...
All my fave.
That. I'm happy to hear that.
Was there a particular album from, say, Gaga specifically, or Lana?
I think the Born to Die album by Lana was quite a big impact in my life, and I just fell in love with the sonical and the songwriting part of it. And I think that kind of sparked something for me. I don't recall really thinking that I'm gonna make music because of this, but that's kind of where it started. And then as it grew on me, I think more influences like Ben Howard, for instance, he's quite a big influence in the way I approach music. So I can't even remember what your question was now, but that's basically what started it all.
I mean, we've heard who some of your faves are, but for this album in particular, which artists would you say have been hugely influential?
So there's a South African artist, Maniac. He has co-written with me about 70% of the album, and I've been very influenced by his vibe, however, making it my own. So I think he's probably my biggest muse in the South African industry specifically.
I mean, music is such a personal thing as well. It's almost like therapy. Which song are you most nervous about people hearing?
I must say, actually, the entire album. This album is such a vulnerable space for me and so personal, because the whole album, I want to say, encapsulates my 2022, which was not one of the best years of my life. I lost my father. I went through a breakup. It's just a lot of emotion and vulnerability that directly after that I was like, okay, how do I find my lead? And I think that's also part of where I was inspired by Gaga, for instance, with Chromatica, which is an album of trauma. But you're dancing through the pain, you know? Vulnerability as to a specific song is probably the lead single, which is Waste Your Time. It's about a breakup, and about in the breakup where you're just like, now we really just starting to waste each other's time. We still love each other, but it's not worth it, you know?
And look at you now, like you've come out of this stronger, which is incredible. Who's the first person that you've played the album to, and what was their reaction?
I don't know, I think the full album was actually first played to my ex, the one who kind of sparked the idea for Waste Your Time. Long story short, we are still very good friends. We used to live together for a year after we broke up. And I like to bounce everything off of him, because I knew that he wasn't gonna, tell me it's good if it's not. So he was the first one, and his reaction was mixed every now and then, but good overall.
It must be weird though, like Do you feel in a way that you sort of have to ask for permission if you're writing this big breakup banger about someone? It's like, okay, this is about you. Are you cool with this? And it's a weird thing.
Definitely. And the first time I played it to him, I was like, please don't take it personally. This was 3 months ago. My headspace was in one place. It's in a different place now. Obviously, you add a little bit to make things sound better or to make it more touching. And, so most artist songs, I would say, are very personal. And even though this one is very personal, you do add to it or take away from it in order to make it sonically listenable and relatable to anybody.
Was there a song that almost didn't make it onto the album? Because I imagine there was a lot of material overall.
There was. So there's a song on it called You're Somebody Else, which is a cover song by Flora Cash, a Swedish duo, which was actually one of the very first songs that I recorded with a friend of mine back in 2017, which it's just a bonus track on the album. It was never released on Spotify, Apple Music, etc. But it went quite viral on SoundCloud and YouTube. Thereafter, everybody's been asking me, please get this on streaming services, please get it on streaming services. And now it's on the album, but it was never meant to be on the album. So I think that's the only one, because everything else was very intentionally written for the album.
It was meant to be. And which track would you say are you most proud of?
And then, very difficult question, actually. There's another South African artist called Just Mia, also one of my best friends. We recorded a song that's a cover as well. I think there's 2 covers on the album. So this cover is by Alt J, which is also a UK band, I think. And the song's name is Breeze Blocks. I don't know if you've heard it before, but we changed the song completely. So Alt J's version is very upbeat and happy, and you wouldn't really know the depth of the lyrics until you read it or really listen to it. Whereas we took the literal part of it and we made it dark and almost scary, which is what it actually is. They sing about loving someone so much that you would actually eat them whole, almost like Jeffrey Dahmer type of vibes. And we took it and really made it dark and scary and kind of haunting.
Wow. And that sort of ties in with the album name as well, I feel.
Yeah, it does. It does.
How did you come up with the name?
The very first song that we wrote was originally called Disco Maniac, and that's probably the only song that's not got a very personal connection. It's mostly just a feel-good, dance club type of song. And after reviewing it a few times, I decided that Disco Maniac is too specific and I would rather want it to just be Maniac. And because that was the start of the album, I was like, okay, Maniac, cool album name, sounds catchy, short and sweet. Let's do that. So that's where the name actually originated from.
And am I right in saying that you shot one of the music videos?
I did for Waste Your Time. So it's not necessarily music video. It's more of a lyric video, but it's got live footage and footage of me, obviously. It was done last year, September, August side. Yeah, I'm quite proud of it. I think I looked my best at that stage of my life. So I'm quite excited to release the music video. This would also be the second music video that I've ever done.
Wow. How was it this time round compared to, say, the first music video that you shot?
The first round was very much produced, and there was a producer, one of the big names in South African film industry, that produced the whole music video, which was actually For Your Somebody Else, which is the bonus track. And it was very scripted, and like we knew what we were doing, and it was very like this, you know. Whereas with what we've done for Waste Your Time is I didn't specifically have an idea of what I wanted to do, and I took it like as we were going through the motions. I tried to feel my feels during it because it's such an emotional song, and I don't want it to be too scripted because I feel like then sometimes it loses some of the authenticity out of it all. Especially when it's something that's not necessarily a dance track, like a dance, whatever track.
Well, I mean, like you've smashed it. It's incredible. And you've spoken about how you've put your heart and soul into this album. What are you hoping that people gain from it? What are you hoping that people walk away and feel?
I'm hoping that people will be able to find some type of a relatability to it. That it's not just something that you listen to and that you don't necessarily vibe with and feel your feels, because as I'm saying, I really think that the album is a diary of my life, but I want it to be relatable to everybody. I don't want it to be something that you just listen to, but you can't really like picture your own life in it. So I try to write all of it kind of in a way that would make sense to anybody and that anybody could resonate with and take something out of, which is a difficult thing. Like, people don't necessarily think pop music is difficult to write, but it is quite different than doing something like, you know, alternative music, which is also deep in its own right and valid in its own right. But I think pop music gets taken for granted quite easily because there's a structure to it and people like follow a recipe when you do that. However, I did try to deviate from it, but at the same time, as I'm saying, I tried to make it relatable to people.
And I think that you've done exactly that. It's absolutely amazing, and I hope that everyone loves it. Thank you so much for talking, and huge congrats.
Thank you so much.